ومن أحسن قولا ممن دعا إلى الله وعمل صالحا وقال إنني من المسلمين.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Bismillahi wa salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, girls. And welcome back to our session on preparing for the most unique Ramadan of our lives, part 2. So if you haven't seen part 1 yet, please go ahead, and inshallah we are going to have a Ramadan playlist with all the Ramadan topics that we have talked about that are relevant to you girls. So, alhamdulillah, Epic Masjid has been providing us with so many Ramadan programs, and inshallah we'll continue to do so. But this playlist that we are going to create for you girls, inshallah, will all be relevant to you girls and no one else. So do stay tuned for that. Inshallah, we will be sending out a link, and of course, go ahead and subscribe to Epic Masjid so that you can go ahead and view the playlist. So let's get started for today, inshallah. So we are now very, very close to Ramadan. Inshallah, we have less than a week until the blessed month is upon us, right? And some of us, we are now we can be of two spectrums, which is spectrum A, where Ramadan it's like dragging upon us, and it's kind of like, okay, it's a burden, and now here comes those fastings and the late nights and the qiyam and the iftar, and just not looking forward to it because of the fact that you're not coming to the masjid, because of the fact that we are not together as a community. So that's spectrum A. Then we've got spectrum B, which is that you are all hyped up and pumped up, and you're ready, like, let's do this, let's get to that point where this Ramadan will be so unique, but at the same time, it will be the most memorable Ramadan ever, right? An unforgettable Ramadan. And inshallah, that is where we're going to aim to be, right? That is what our aim is. And through these programs, through our virtual hangouts, through, just friends and the company, we're all going to motivate each other, right? Because it's hashtag, we're all in this together, right? So that's the whole point, that we are all in this together, and we are going to make this Ramadan the most memorable Ramadan ever, right? So let's just kind of, before we do begin, I do want to apologize on behalf of Imam Nadeem. I had mentioned earlier that he would be able to come today, but due to some situations, he is not able to make it. So inshallah, we are going to continue on ahead with what we went back last week. So quick overview of what we did last week, which was that Ramadan, we have to go into this month with a healthy mindset, with a positive mindset, right? So we're positive. We're thinking good about Allah, right? And positive mindset that, yes, even though, right now we are not fasting, right now our prayers are not being prayed on time, but we still have that, no, I'm going to get into this Ramadan with a positive mindset, that I'm not going to be lazy. I'm not going to, procrastinate. I'm not going to go ahead and, just waste my Ramadan away sleeping for most of the day, right? So now it's time for us to go into practical tips. Let's first go into the one question that you girls asked me, which is, how can we still gain from this month since we are at home and not going to the masjid and still make it our best month yet? So Sister Sophie, can you give us some practical tips and advice? Right? And absolutely I will, inshallah. So like we said, our first point that we talked about was having a positive mindset. And now, girls, I want you guys to focus on 4 things, just 4 things this Ramadan. So number 1, we said positive mindset. Number 2, inshallah, is what we're going to talk about, right? Number 2 is energy management. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by managing your energy? What I mean is, think about this. When we're fasting, when we are sleeping most of the day and staying awake all night, right? How do you feel during the day? So say, for example, you've slept all throughout the day. And when you wake up, really close to iftar time, or maybe like an hour or 2 hours, how does your body feel? Some of you will be like, I feel pretty great. Yeah, I don't see any problem, right? But let's make this Ramadan where it's not just about us wasting our day away. Girls, I will repeat this over and over again. Let's get into the habit of knowing what our sleep cycle is and what our waking up cycle is. Let's not waste our day away. Let's truly make this opportunity, take these opportunities, right? Grab those chances, morning, afternoon, evening. And inshallah, we are here to motivate each other, and we will have programs to motivate each other, to help each other. But first, what does it start from? It starts from you. Girls, I will emphasize this, that we are the ones that have to take control over our lives. Think of it like a car, okay? So if you let the car, it's stationary, it's untouched, you're not driving it, what happens to that car? It'll eventually stop working, right? Usually like after 3-4 days at least, you have to get that car, you have to start that engine, right? So think about this. You girls are behind that steering wheel. You are in control of starting up your action plan for that day, right? What happens around you, that situation around you is that's not in your control. But you waking up, you sleeping, that is under your control. That is truly under your control. And you girls can do it, right? You can set up that alarm. You can go ahead and ask your friend to wake you up. I remember when I was in high school, I used to go ahead, my friends and I, we kind of kept up like, okay, a way to motivate each other was, even though it was for school, but we sort of kept it for Fajr as well. That before heading to school, we would wake each other up for Fajr, right? And we would just, send each other a call and call until until one of us picked up the phone. And I remember one of my friends, she was just like, yeah, so apparently I kept calling my friend that she threw the phone across her room because that's how upset she was over the fact that I was calling her. But think about this. When we're motivating each other and we see those calls and we're like, oh yeah, I was supposed to pray Fajr. It's those reminders. It's those reminders that not only will we remember, but it will push us. It will push us to be better, right? So let's get back to energy management. How can we manage our energy? If we don't understand, if we don't know how we can invest, I'm saying investing in our energy, because our energy is so precious that we truly have to divide our energy in a positive way. Positive energy, positive mindset, right? Like what we said in the previous session, part 1 of this, that if we go into Ramadan with a negative mindset, with just, just not happy and very, unsatisfied, then what's going to happen to the rest of our Ramadan? It's also going to end up being very unsatisfactory. But if we go into this Ramadan with a positive mindset, with that positive energy, right? That let's do this, then you will see every single day, even the ones that are a little bit lower, but it won't be so low that you feel like your day was just a waste, that your Ramadan day number 7, your Ramadan day number 8 was an entire waste of a day, right? And even if it comes to that point where you do feel that, get back up and do it again. Day number 9, day number 7, day number 8 it was pretty messed up, right? You didn't feel like you were as productive as you could have been. So get back up in day number 9, get back up in day number 10. Keep at it, keep pushing yourself. And that is the beauty of Ramadan. That is the beauty of Ramadan. Not the fact that we're not coming to the masjid and we're not together as a community physically, that's it. Ramadan is just fasting and sleeping and being shut in our room. No, it's the opposite. We're going to push each other. We're going to do this together, right? We need to motivate each other, girls. That's why it's so important with your friends to have that company, to have that group of friends that, girls, come on, let's do this, you guys. Let's set up our Ramadan goals. Let's set up that Ramadan checklist. And that is exactly tomorrow, inshallah. We are going to have a live Zoom hangout on exactly this. So even if you don't come to Epic, it doesn't matter. We would love for you girls to come and join in. And you'll find all the details on our Facebook page at East Plano Islamic Center and our Epic Youth Facebook page as well, right? So what is the best way to have an action plan ready, to be ready with what you want to do? And that is to have that self-discipline. So more than anything, let's get back to energy management. That's point number 2, okay? So it's not only about being able to, sleeping on time, waking up on time. Obviously, Ramadan, our sleep schedule gets a little bit messed up, but don't completely neglect your body of sleep, right? Our body still needs at least a minimum of 6 hours, right? That doesn't mean you sleep for 10, 12 hours. After Fajr, after reading some Quran, go ahead and go to sleep. But of course, what if we have school? Then what, right? So that's why those short little bursts of time that you have, don't stay up staring at your screens. Honestly, girls, if you notice that when we stare and we look at our screen, what happens? We actually become more awake. We become wide awake. So I've noticed that even though I might wake up at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and I'm kind of sleepy, I'm a little bit groggy. But the moment I look at my screen, I look at my phone, I look at my laptop, that's it. I'm wide awake, and I'll be awake till 5 a.m., 6 a.m., and then I'm sleepy again, right? But obviously, we want to have those short bursts of sleep. Yes, we want to push ourselves, and we want to do it in such a way that we don't get burned out. Don't do so much that you get completely burned out, but at the same time, don't do too little where you're in your comfort zone, right? Let's step out of our comfort zone, but at the same time, let's not burn ourselves out. And that is what it's all about, managing your energy. Where are you going to use your energy? Are you going to use your energy, you're fasting, it's during the day, but you're busy watching. You're busy watching TV shows. You're busy, just mindlessly chatting with your friends, watching those TikToks, right? Making those TikToks, right? Let's use that energy right now. Let's take those moments and use that energy in positive ways. And everything that we do in Ramadan, and we do it having that intention for the sake of Allah, it automatically becomes a worship. So even the schoolwork that you're doing, right? So some of us do have classes from 7 a.m. all the way to 4 p.m., right? Some of us only have few classes, maybe somewhere during the day. Some of us have evening classes. Whatever it is, whatever you have going on, and it's not religious related, but still have the intention that you're doing it for Allah. Now, watching a TV show, right, while you're fasting, are you really doing it for Allah? No, you're not, right? So let's put that aside. Let's push that aside for right now. Let's work on the things that we know we are doing it for Allah. That's our ultimate goal, doing it for Allah. And obviously, for example, helping out our parents, giving charity, giving sadaqah, right? So, fixing and adjusting your sleep and wake cycle, right? You want to make sure that you are able to set those timings. Second of all, what is the next thing that I wanted to mention is food. What you're gonna put in your body, right? So now iftar comes. And what are we generally used to, right? We're generally used to a lot of fried things. Girls, even though now, inshallah, even your parents will start learning and getting used to the fact that how about let's limit those fried foods. Let's open up our iftar with some dates, some water, some power foods, right? Food that will actually, boost up our energy. And girls, believe me when I say that this is for me included. This is not just for you girls, but I feel like this is for all of us, where we need to eat that kind of food where it will really boost our energy, our immediate energy, and subhanAllah, That is the beauty of what sunnah is. That's the beauty of following the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's why he opened his iftar not with just a samosa, not with a samosa, not with, Vimto or Rovza, right? He didn't open his fast with that. He opened his fast with dates and water. Dates and water. Girls, I know some of us do not like dates, right? But get into the habit of eating a bite of a date, right? I don't know if they sell chocolate covered dates, but I remember for me to get into a habit, especially when I was a teenager, that's the one thing that I would have is a chocolate date. So it still was like, okay, I'm still eating that date, even though it's chocolate covered, right? So we can figure out ways to get, to eat that energy packed food, right? So that's iftar. To eat foods that will give you energy, that will not make you feel tired and lazy, right? So think about all the food. Write a list, right? Let's do that. Let's write a list of all the foods that will actually make us lazy. Personally, I feel, even though I love it, like pasta, spaghetti, I love these things, right? But I know at the same time, these are high carb foods. And initially, I'm going to be tired, like not just tired, but like I won't have that energy. I'll feel really sluggish, right? We don't want to like bog down all that food and not feel that energy, that, alertness that we want to feel. But what can we eat? Fruits, right? Maybe some chickpeas, right? Some whole wheat, some protein. Chicken, right? That's not like, in some, like butter and like all of that, but like in portions. Let's not, gulf down our food and be like, just eat like that. Let's not do that, right? And it's very important, girls, for us to learn from this. And why? Because this is what's going to help us manage our energy. From the food that we eat, it's going to help us for our night prayers. So instead of us praying and feeling lazy and just like, I don't have that energy to stand up in my prayer, or I don't have that energy to, read the Quran or even stay awake, right? And all you want to do is just lie down on the bed and just slump down and everything, right? We don't need to do that. We can follow the sunnah and eat proper foods so we are alert, we are wide awake, right? So that's food. Let's get into exercise now. Sorry, before exercise, I do want to mention, so I said iftar, but what about suhoor? What about suhoor? Right? So again, we can make those power shakes. If you guys know about all those power shakes that are out there, those recipes, we can make those. Let's put some dates in it. Again, these are all practical tips and advice for what? For making the most of our Ramadan. Instead, when we're thinking about, okay, what should I do today? What can I eat? I'm in a mood for this, mood for that. But we're not actually, planning it out, or we're not actually realizing we're consuming our energy through this too. So let's, again, manage our energy through this. Planning it out ahead of time, and just bits of food that we know will have a lot of energy, that will give us a lot of energy. Now, let's go on to the next point. And what was the next point that I mentioned? Exercise. So some of you girls might be like, how can you exercise while you're fasting? How is that even possible? But I remember that last week when I had the virtual hangout with some of you girls mentioned that you actually like to work out while you're fasting. And that's really good. That's an excellent thing to do. So if you girls feel like you have that strength to exercise while you're fasting, go for it, right? Don't let that go. If you feel like, okay, you know what? Maybe early morning, you've just had your suhoor. So maybe 7:30, 8 o'clock, maybe 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Those little bits, 10, 15 minutes, not too long. But what does exercise do? Think about it. What does an exercise do? Exercise is going to get your blood going, right? You've got those endorphins coming out, right? That positive, you got those positive vibes as well. Your brain, you got that brain energy flowing as well. All of these things are happening just because you spent 10, 15 minutes to exercise. And what do I mean by exercise? It doesn't have to be a machine, right? It doesn't have to mean like, you have to have a physical machine. Just stand up, get some space a little bit, do jumping jacks, right? Do jumping jacks, do some push-ups, do some sit-ups, right? Try and move around. If you have more, do some planks. More energy, go ahead. Maybe take a walk around the block really quickly, right? But get yourself going. Just because, girls, we're in quarantine does not mean that we stay put, right? But that does not mean we neglect ourselves. Girls, self-care is so important for each and every one of us, for all of us. We have to take care of ourselves. So imagine when you do all of this, you're eating right, you're exercising, even though you're fasting. And exercising is not like a full-on 30-minute, 40-minute session. I'm talking just 10, 15 minutes. 10, 15 minutes to get that good juice going, right? To get that good vibe going, that positive energy, right? What's happening? All of this is worship. All of this is ibadah. So can you girls believe that you will be rewarded for this? You will get reward for this if your intention is for Allah. That even though I'm fasting, but I want to take care of myself. I want to take care of myself so that tonight I can pray my qiyam. So that tonight I can go ahead and pray my tarawih prayer. So that later on in the evening, even though, right before iftar, I'm still feeling, agitated, it's okay. I will, read Quran. I will be able to stay focused. That's what we need, girls. And this all comes from you. Girls, you need to have that self-discipline, right? Take that steering wheel in your hands. You have to take control of your life. Don't rely on your mom. Don't rely on your dad. Don't rely on any guardian, any aunt, any teacher, no one, right? Honestly, to an extent, don't rely on yourself, but at the same time, take control. You can take control of what you do, right? And Allah will help you every step of the way. It's up to you though, right? So, good mind in a good body, right? So how are we going to do that? When we don't feel sluggish, we're not gaining weight through this pandemic, right? And instead, what are we doing? We are going ahead and we are exercising, right? A lot of us were like, okay, you know what? Let's track our weight. So let's see before Ramadan what my weight was, and then after Ramadan, how much weight did I gain? Why should it be like that? In fact, if anything, we should be consistent, right? When we're consistent, and if anything, it's not about weight. It's about how you feel. Good mind in a good body. That positive mindset will come when you have that energy, when you have at least moved around for about 10, 15 minutes, right? Get that going. Just because you're fasting does not mean that you have to sit in one place or you have to sleep all the time, right? Okay, so we talked about sleeping. We talked about food, healthy food, right? Now, let's go into after we are finished with, iftar, the post-fast breaks. So the portion between after iftar and the time we should have suhoor, right? Suhoor is what? That before fajr, that small little meal that we have, right? And even then, we don't want to fill ourselves where we feel so full that we can't pray fajr, right? Sometimes we make the mistake that we drink lots and lots of water, that honestly we become a little bit nauseous during fajr prayer, that fajr is a little bit difficult to pray, right? So we have to proportionize everything. Everything has to be in a proportional way, all right? So now let's go into self-discipline. And what do I mean by self-discipline as well? Self-discipline means, like I just said, taking action by taking control for yourself. And then what? Also saying, I can do this. That this fasting, it might be hard because maybe it's long, but I can do this because Allah has given me a mind. Allah has given me the health. Allah has given me the body. Allah has given me the opportunity. Allah has given me the chance of being a Muslim. So why should I not fast? Why should I not fast just because the masajids are closed? We should all take that responsibility on us that we need to go ahead and fast, that we need to go ahead and open the Quran up, not just reading it. It's also about pondering. It's also about thinking about what the Quran says, right? Taking control of these things. And our language that we use, language, I mean that positive language that we are using, makes a huge difference. Huge difference. Now, let's go into task management. What do I mean by task management? I mean that the little goals, let's set out a checklist now, right? Let's set out our goals. So we write down the goals. What are your goals? And now let's be specific about the goals. So it's not about, okay, I want to read tafsir, I want to memorize Quran, or I want to, pray 5 times, or I want to pray extra prayers. Be specific about that. And what do I mean by that? I mean that, for example, I want to read these surahs, these specific surahs. So maybe like, I want to read Surah Maryam, Surah Kahf, Surah Anfal, specific surahs that you were always interested in, wondered about it, but didn't get a chance to, right? Or just one surah, right? We have to be specific with our goals, because once we're specific, then we'll know that we have to do it, right? It'll be easier for us to know, no, hold on a second, I want to get to this goal. I want to achieve this goal. So you're going to push yourself towards it. But by just saying, yeah, okay, I'm going to read tafsir every day. No, be specific. How many pages of tafsir would you like to read? Ask yourself. All right, Sophie, how many pages do you think you can do? Only 2 pages? That's okay. Only 1 page? That's okay. But have a specific goal, because when we leave it open-ended, it's really going to feel like an open-ended goal. One day you're reading 2 pages, one day you're reading 1 page, one day you're not going to read any page. But if you set out every single day, I'm going to read at least 1 page, and set out that time, not 20 minutes, not 30 minutes, 10 minutes. Girls, we can't take out 10 minutes out of our school schedule that it's online virtual school. It's not, we're not going to school. So alhamdulillah, our energy is technically being saved in that sense, that we're not physically, waking up, going to school. Our energy is being saved over there. But let's not save our energy so much that we're just not doing anything. Let's use our energy in a positive way, right? So it's those small things. A dua that you want to learn every day. So, you have a dua book, and I would like to read this dua on this day. Set it out. Alhamdulillah, we have time. And each thing that you set out, keep for it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes max. 20 minutes max, that's it. But we can do it, right? We all can do it. It's all about, yes, I can do it. Positive mindset again. SubhanAllah, again, these 4 things that I just mentioned, having a positive mindset, managing your energy, having self-discipline, and managing your tasks. That's all you got to do this Ramadan. And you'll see it becomes easier and easier, right? All right. Now, prayers. If you're struggling with your 5 prayers, I want you girls to remember this hadith. The hadith. Man qama Ramadan imanan wahtisaban ghufira lahu ma taqaddama min dhanbih. So what is the hadith? That I heard Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying regarding Ramadan, whoever prayed at night in it, the month of Ramadan, out of sincere faith and hoping for a reward from Allah, then all his previous sins will be forgiven. So we have to have the intention of not just our 5 prayers, but our night prayers as well, right? And 4 weeks, inshallah, of Ramadan, we can get into that habit. Let's again come into Ramadan that not only am I going to be doing this during the month of Ramadan, but after Ramadan as well, I can do it. I can manage my time and I can push myself. I can do it. That's what we have to get ourselves to think. Now, let's have that company. Let's come together and do it. Let's motivate each other, right? So, another way, practical. Those filters on the tongue, that is what we have to really work on. Backbiting, lying, slandering. What else? Swearing. What we say makes a huge difference on our heart, right? And I'm going to mention this again. I mentioned it once before in a previous Ramadan program, and I'm going to say it again because this helps us that if we abstain from this, if we keep that aside, it's going to help us towards doing good. It's going to help us towards positivity, right? Now, the question is, are you ready for this Ramadan? And we all should answer, yes, inshallah, I'm ready, right? Let's make that checklist. If you're not able to come tomorrow, although I would really want you girls to show up to tomorrow's virtual hangout where we're going to create a list and we're going to motivate each other. And we're going to say, this Ramadan, every single day, what are practical goals that I can do in the morning, 5-10 minutes, in the afternoon, 5-10 minutes, in the evening, 5-10 minutes. Let's grab this month. Let's not miss out on this month because we really do not know if this month of Ramadan will be our last or if we'll be healthy the way we are this Ramadan. SubhanAllah, from last Ramadan to this Ramadan, think about maybe a friend who went through a car accident, who went through some sort of accident, who possibly could not spend Ramadan the same way that they spent last Ramadan. Maybe they're going through some sort of disease, they're going through some sort of sickness, maybe coronavirus related, maybe not. Girls, last year, did you girls know about the coronavirus, COVID-19? No, we didn't. Did we know that this was going to happen this Ramadan? No, we didn't. So do you know what's going to happen next Ramadan? No, you don't. That doesn't mean that we are now like under anxiety that I don't know what's going to happen, how am I going to spend my Ramadan? But let's take every single day on a positive note, right? Encouraging each other, managing that energy. And that is what we're going to end with today's program with. Focusing on these 4 tasks, right? These 4 core points, which is, first of all, having a positive mindset. Second of all, managing your energy through your sleep, through your food, through your exercise, right? And that automatically comes back into positive mindset. Number 3, having that self-discipline, right? Self-discipline automatically means that you want to take control over your life. You want to take that steering wheel. You're not going to blame anyone for your mistakes. You're going to work on it yourself. And number 4, task management. Managing those tasks in a very practical way. Be realistic on what you can do. Don't overburden yourself. Don't burden, yourself, or don't go ahead and burn out. But at the same time, think about it in a practical way. How can I do these tasks? And how can I have someone help me to do these tasks? Meaning remind me, your parents, your friends, right? And more importantly, girls, but the last thing that I want to say, dua, dua, and dua. None of it. We cannot do anything unless we ask Allah to help us to worship Him. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. You alone we worship and you alone we ask for help. And that is what we need to ask Allah with that dua, right? Once you make that dua and know that we are truly weak, that Allah, la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Only Allah has that power, that might to help us. And He will. When we make that dua, that is our weapon. That is what's going to help us to continue and push forward just by making that dua. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. And that's the close. That's right there. That's what's the closure for us, to push ourselves. All right, girls? So inshallah, we are going to have more of these practical sessions, inshallah. Next week, we're less than a week away from Ramadan. So I want you girls to think about this, and we'll continue with practical ways and advice on how we can make this Ramadan the most unique Ramadan ever in our lives. Jazakumullah khair to you all. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصمه ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولعلكم تشكرون